Jack Miller, long time no chat. How you going?
Yeah, good, thank you. Not too bad. I mean, it has been a while, but it hasn't. You know, it feels like just yesterday we were knocking off from the last season, but happy to be back here and back, doing what we love.
Well, we're happy to have you back on Fox Sports. Let's talk 2025 before we move on to 2026. Because 2025 was a big year for you. You know, new team, new challenges. How do you think it shaped up in the end?
Yeah, it was a season of ups and downs. Obviously, we had some decent highs and some really decent lows, but no, we got our head around what was the M1 at that point in time. You know, it was a pleasure being back in the Pramac garage, but under different circumstances. And then obviously coming into this year with that perception, or let's say that new bike in the forefront of our thought, it's like a carrot dangling, at the end of it all. But no, it's been a nice transition across, and an awesome garage to be a part of.
You mentioned the roller coaster last year. Was there a moment where you thought, okay, this clicks, now we're starting to get the hang of this?
Yeah, most of the time when that happened was right before I hit the ground. So, it's as it goes sometimes in the sport. It's tough. Just when things you feel like you're finding your feet, it can kind of get away from you a little bit. But, I believe this year, coming into this year, the ceiling's been raised a little bit. We were kind of at our ceiling with that old bike in terms of trying every which way we could to try and make it, work the way we needed to. With the new configuration, it's expanded our horizons a whole heap more and, raised the ceiling on what we're able to set the bike up and how we're able to set the bike up and where we're able to put the bike on the track in terms of keeping rear tyre on the ground, in terms of using the performance of the rear tyre.
Explain for the viewers at home, the V4 engine, how different, because you're just talking about it there, how different really is it to last year?
At the end of the day, obviously it's a motorbike, it's still got two wheels, but, we're roughly around, 300 mils to 30 centimetres narrower, which for us in this game is a big step. Knocking those two cylinders off basically out the front and putting them at the back, you then bring a lot of your weight more, or you put the weight more over the back tyre. Let's say you're taking that weight off the front, which was in the inline four, and you're kind of putting it more central, or even towards the back of the bike with the V. So yeah, there's two positives already there. The bike being slimmer, you're not pushing as much wind. You're then able to play a little bit more with the side pods that we have now and use the ground effect in terms of aero. And with the way the rear tyre is, there's a lot of performance to be had in the rear tyre in terms of stopping the bike. Which with the V4, with the inline four, we weren't able to do that because the majority of our weight distribution was over that front tyre, which made it really unreal for a bike to turn and have front feedback. But in terms of stopping, the thing just wanted to go straight in the air because you weren't able to keep that weight over the rear tyre. Whereas with this configuration, we're able to sort of keep the weight more central. Obviously, it always pitches a little bit, but you're able to, when you do have contact on the rear tyre, you're able to load the rear tyre a little bit more and then use more engine brake, use more, just more stopping essentially. So it's different, and obviously, the old bike had 20 odd years of development, so we're starting completely fresh. A lot of our engineers have worked with other manufacturers, but it's no small feat to make one of these MotoGP engines in a matter of months.
This year, last year of the current MotoGP bike, then there's those changes. Is that something you're starting to think about as well?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. No, I really would love to be here. In Pramac even, love to be on the grid for the changes with the 850 and the new tyres and everything like that. I'd love to be a part of that. To ride these MotoGP bikes on some different tyres. I did the last year of Bridgestones, and majority of my all my MotoGP career basically has been on Michelin, so it'd be nice to switch it up a little bit, see what these things behave like with some different rubber underneath us and try to understand that.
Okay, let's talk off-season, because we know you love coming home, love hanging out with your wife Ruby and Pip. How important is it for you to come back to Australia, ground yourself before heading back overseas for the season?
No, it's been good. It's been good, honestly. Like, by the time we got home, it was we were well into December, and then, you know, but it was good. Short time at home, but it's been really good working with a new guy out of Australia, Simon Sostrix, his name, so a trainer down in Melbourne. So he's had me on a pretty strict training program, which has been really nice. The weather's been good up at home in Townsville, so makes for good training. You know, I feel as prepared as I've ever been to come into a season, and you know, felt that in the first shakedown. And as I said, you know, the end of last year feels like just yesterday we kind of knocked off. So I've had enough to sort of rest and recover the mind, but, you know, with the training and stuff like that, I feel as sharp as when we finished the end of last year.
So new trainer, but also a new teammate this year, Toprak Razgatlioglu. How's that? Are you helping, giving some advice into the MotoGP world?
Trying my best, you know, whenever he sort of has a question for me or whatever, I'm more than happy to try and, you know, help him out and share an answer. I mean, the guy's got an immense talent on a motorcycle, that's undeniable, and the things he's done over in World Superbike are phenomenal. So I'm looking forward to seeing his transition. You know, he's got a very unique riding style, as we all do, which is good for Yamaha. You know, we've got 4 different riders with all very different riding styles. So when we're in the beginning stages of this bike, it's really, you know, crucial to be able to get that data and get all those different sort of riding styles and understand what's working, who's struggling more, what they're struggling with, and you can kind of help to build a fantastic motorcycle off that.
When I asked him about you just before, he says to me, "Jack's really funny." So I guess we'll take that as a positive, right?
I'll take that as a win.
Now, Jack, one final question before we round this out. For the Aussie fans at home, are we going to see you on the podium this year on the Yamaha?
I'd love to say yes. You know, I believe we can. You know, otherwise I wouldn't be busting my ass throughout the off-season trying to get it to where we can be. You know, MotoGP is tough, but we've done it before and we'll do it again, I'm sure of it. But, you know, we just have to you got to be in it to win it kind of thing, and that's all we got to do. You know, try and get through these tests, get as much information as we possibly can, and come with a competitive bike to Thailand.
Well, we can't wait to see you on track. Can't wait to see you on the podium. Jack Miller, thank you very much.
Cheers.